Hey guys, welcome back to our channel and another Grow with Nav style video. Abhi last week there was a massive interest rate increase that happened which actually caused a lot of havoc in the market. It's the biggest interest rate increase that have happened in the last I don't know how many years, I think 28 years or 30 years, and there are so many people who have reached out to me and said that नवजोत भाई अभी घर खरीदें, बाद में घर खरीदें, 6 महीने वेट करना चाहिए, साल वेट करना चाहिए, and there are so many people who have called me in a panicked state saying कि नवजोत भाई अभी हम घर नहीं खरीद रहे because interest rate बहुत ज़्यादा हाई हैं। तो आज की वीडियो में हम बात करेंगे why buying a house on the basis of interest rate is so very wrong and what you should do if you are a first time home buyer in today's market. So let's get started. So Bank of Canada increased their overnight rate by 0.5%. इसका ये मतलब है जो प्राइम रेट होता है वो भी इंक्रीज हो जाता है 0.5% पे। उसका बेसिकली ये मतलब है जो हमारी ओवरऑल मॉर्गेज है, जिनकी भी वेरिएबल रेट मॉर्गेज थी, इट ऑल इंक्रीजेस बाय 0.5%. सो आई गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. जैसे हमारी मॉर्गेज जो है दैट्स अप फॉर $420,000. इनफैक्ट थोड़ा सा कम है, $414,000 की मॉर्गेज है हमारी ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्डो. एंड व्हेन आई बॉट द हाउस लास्ट ईयर, our mortgage was at 1.3% variable. उस टाइम पे जो प्राइम रेट था दैट वाज एट 2.45% और मेरा जो डिस्काउंट था प्राइम पे दैट वाज 1.15. तो माय इफेक्टिव रेट बिकेम 2.45 विच इज द प्राइम माइनस 1.15 विच इज माय डिस्काउंट इक्वल टू 1.3%. अब लास्ट मंथ मार्च में जब रेट इंक्रीज हुआ था 0.25% से, all the mortgages actually went up by 0.25% including mine, because the prime rate increased from 2.45% to 2.7% and my mortgage increased, the mortgage rate increased from 1.3 to 1.55. And now when the prime has increased by another 0.5%, that basically means that my mortgage will be now at 2.05%, which is 0.5 higher than the 1.55%. So how this translates into money is, back in January and February, or in fact even last year, my mortgage was at 1.3% and I was paying on a $414,000 mortgage. I was actually paying close to $1,600 in monthly mortgage payment. But now with a 2.05% interest rate, my monthly mortgage payment has increased to $1,746, which is $145 more than last year, or in fact more than January and February. अब इसका ये मतलब नहीं कि आई कांट अफोर्ड इट एंड बहुत सारा पहाड़ टूट गया, कुछ नहीं हुआ, राइट? आवर सैलरीज हैव इंक्रीज मच मोर देन $145 अ मंथ एंड वी कैन इजीली एब्जॉर्ब दिस इंक्रीज एवरी सिंगल मंथ गोइंग फॉरवर्ड. सो इट्स नॉट द एंड ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. बट मेरे को जो सबसे ज़्यादा परेशानी हो रही है, स्पेशली विद फर्स्ट टाइम होम बायर्स, इज दैट दे आर टेकिंग अ डिसीजन ऑफ बाइंग अ हाउस बेस्ड ऑन हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट्स और लोअर इंटरेस्ट रेट. बिकॉज कुछ रियल्टर्स, कुछ लोगों ने उनको ये कह दिया है कि यू नीड टू बाय अ हाउस इन दिसंबर, जनवरी एंड फरवरी, जब उस टाइम पे मार्केट इतनी ज़्यादा हाई थी और इंटरेस्ट रेट लो थे, कि बाद में जाके इंटरेस्ट रेट इंक्रीज हो जाएंगे एंड देयरफॉर यू हैव टू बाय अ हाउस नाउ. दैट्स सो वेरी रॉन्ग. जिसकी भी वेरिएबल मॉर्गेज थी उनके इंटरेस्ट रेट इंक्रीज हुए हैं. एंड येस, देयर आर सम वेरिएबल मॉर्गेजेस जहां पे इंटरेस्ट रेट जो होते हैं वो इंक्रीज होते हैं बट पेमेंट स्टैटिक रहती हैं. दैट्स अ टॉपिक फॉर अनदर वीडियो. बट द पॉइंट हियर इज दैट उस टाइम पे जब बहुत सारे घर खरीद रहे थे लोग, उनकी भी मॉर्गेज जो है वो अब जाके इंक्रीज हो रही है बिकॉज दे गॉट वेरिएबल रेट्स. सो बाइंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ interest rate is the worst decision that we can take. In fact, on the flip side, let me just explain to you why it makes sense to buy a house in today's environment when the interest rates are high and there's so much fear in the market that people are not buying houses, and you can actually buy houses at $100,000 to $200,000 below whatever price was, the same houses being sold in January and February. You can actually save a lot of money at cost, and let me just make you understand this using my laptop. Alright guys, so this scenario is actually a real scenario in Kitchener, which is very close to our pre-construction house. तो वहाँ पे उसी complex के अंदर there was a house that sold for $990,000 in early February. Now if you do a down payment of 10% on this, $99,000, and the interest rate at that time was 1.3%, वही जो मेरा interest rate था उस time पे, this is the variable interest rate, and the monthly mortgage was coming at $3,587. This is amazing, a good house, townhouse है, freehold है, all good. Now what happened in April 2022, obviously with all the interest rates that have increased, now the interest rate that we are getting on variable is 2.25%. But because of all the fear in the market, the same house, and this one is just right opposite the 991 sold for $860,000 because लोगों में अभी FOMO नहीं है, लोग are scared, there are deals available. This house was bought almost $130,000 lower than the house that was bought in February 2022. The down payment is $86,000, so $13,000 की saving यहाँ पे हैं. And even with the higher interest rate, the overall monthly mortgage becomes 3,457. And the saving doesn't stop here. The 1.3%, because it was a variable mortgage and there was a 0.75% increase in prime, the actual rate of this the mortgage is now at 2.05%, same as mine. जो मैंने पिछले साल mortgage ली थी वो आज की डेट में 0.75 बढ़ चुकी है, and the new monthly mortgage payment becomes 3,912. There is almost $450 का फर्क even if you buy at a higher interest rate today, just because there are deals available in the market. There are houses that are going unsold, there are houses which people are not overbidding on, and there are houses who are going on list price right now, which was not the case back in 2022 February and January and December 2021, where houses were actually listed at $799 and going at close to $1 million. So that's how mathematically it still makes sense to buy the house and save a lot, because the purchase price is much lower than what it was 3 months ago. Guys, buying a house is a 25 to 30 year commitment. We can't base it on interest rates which actually go up and down. कल को interest rate 1.2% थे, आज interest rate 2% है, कल को interest rate 3% होगा और वो 3% वापस 2% 1.5% पे आएगा. It keeps going up and down. But a house is a 25 to 30 year old commitment, and you can only buy a house when you can afford it. You can't base your house buying decision on something like interest rate that actually goes up and down whenever there is something happens with the environment, whenever there is something happens with the economy. So now the question is, अगर interest rate के basis पे घर नहीं लेना तो what do we base our buying decision on? And the answer is what I've been saying for the last 2 years. जब हमारे पास घर भी नहीं था, जब मैं mortgage broker नहीं था, I have always been saying that you should buy a house when you can afford it. And उसमें एक rule आता है which I call the rule of 35. Rule of 35 says that your house carrying cost, and you should always calculate your house mortgage at 3% interest rate. कम पे नहीं, ज़्यादा पे नहीं, क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट रेट ऊपर नीचे जाता है. हिस्टोरिकली 3.5% इज अ सेफ इंटरेस्ट रेट टू टेक. सो कैलकुलेट योर मॉर्गेज ऑन 3.5% ऑफ इंटरेस्ट रेट. Add condo fees if you are going to buy a condo. Add your utilities, which is, if you are buying a condo then $75, if you are buying a house then $150, and add your monthly property tax bill that I actually take at $300 per month. ये सब expenses को add करके this should not be more than 35% of your net after tax income. अब guys, ये basically एक affordability calculator है, and this I have made because we have got this upside down. हम normally क्या करते हैं, we actually start कि मेरे को 700,000 का घर खरीदना है, मेरे को 800,000 का घर खरीदना है, अब मेरे को बताओ कि मैं afford कर सकता हूँ नहीं कर सकता हूँ. That's not how you calculate affordability as per me. You first start with your net monthly household income after tax and deductions. So for instance, that's $10,000. For instance, मेरी और सिमरन की it was around this when we were earning and we were having, last year जब हमने घर खरीदा था. Now the house budget automatically is 35% of $10,000, which is at $3,500. So if this is $12,000, हमारा जो हाउस बजट है वो $4,200 हो जाएगा. ये अगर $8,000 है तो हमारा हाउस बजट जो है वो $2,800 हो जाएगा. So let's for simplicity keep at $10,000 net income after tax and deductions, जो हमारे बैंक अकाउंट में आ रहा है, तो हमारा $3,500 हो गया. So ये वाली जो कैलकुलेशन है ये बेसिकली मैंने करी है. It's basically a back calculation from this $3,500. So what this actually takes into account is monthly property tax at $300, which is the average monthly property tax that you have, $3,600 a year, which translates into the $300. Then you have a condo fee, which is $0 for a freehold house. I'm assuming that this is a freehold house, and the utility bill is slightly higher for a freehold house because heat and water, everything you have to pay, plus the internet is a little bit more in a freehold house. So $150 ये लिया है, and then $3,500 minus 300 minus 150 comes at about $3,050. That should be your mortgage payment. If you are buying a condo, ये थोड़ा सा बजट कम हो जाएगा. क्यों? Because Now the monthly property tax, let's say, is $250. थोड़ा सा कम होता है condo का. $400 is your condo fee. Monthly utility bill I have on average taken at $75. And then your house buying, your condo monthly mortgage payment should be $2,775. Now what we do is we actually go into a calculator and we adjust our costs here. हमें बेसिकली अगर फ्री होल्ड खरीदना है तो हमें 3050 पेमेंट्स बनानी है. सो व्हाट वी डू हियर इज, फॉर इंस्टेंस, वी आर बाइंग अ $750,000 हाउस. वी आर डूइंग अ 10% डाउन. वी आर डूइंग अ 25 ईयर एमिटाइजेशन, बिकॉज जब हम 10% डाउन करते हैं, लेस देन 20 करते हैं, तो हम 25 ईयर कर सकते हैं. एंड हम अपनी मॉर्गेज पेमेंट कैलकुलेट करेंगे 3% पे. इट्स कमिंग एट 3293. हमारा थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा आ रहा है. इसका ये मतलब है कि हम 750 का घर नहीं खरीद सकते, हम 700 का घर खरीदेंगे. एंड नाउ आवर मॉर्गेज पेमेंट इज 3074. This basically means that for this kind of a freehold, our budget is $700,000. एंड अगर हम सेम चीज कॉन्डो के लिए देखें, हमें 2775 वाला नंबर चाहिए, तो वी स्टार्ट हियर, वी एक्चुअली ट्राई टू रिड्यूस दिस नंबर. तो हम 650,000 करके देखेंगे यहाँ पे. And this comes to 2854. हम थोड़ा सा और कम करेंगे यहाँ पे, 630, 2766, which is very close to what we need. So basically, if you are buying a condo, our budget is $630,000 on the salary that we have taken as $10,000 net income. And that's how we should ideally calculate our affordability. That's how we should land on this number of $700,000 and $630,000 instead of starting with this number that a usual bank would actually lead you to do. Now guys, when you go to a bank, they will always give you more eligibility, because whatever happens to the interest rate, whatever happens to the house prices, they always make money. If the interest rate goes up, they make more money in interest. If the interest rate goes down, there are more people who are buying, and therefore they continue to make more money in volume. If the interest rate goes up and your house gets foreclosed, they either claim insurance, which in fact you paid for, or they foreclose the house and get the house, and again they start to make money. So the point here is that the bank will always tell you to buy a bigger house, because they are in it to make more money, and they will always make more money whatever the environment is. So इससे दो चीजें पता चलती हैं. एक, बैंक की मत सुनो, buy the house that you can afford at 3.5%, and always remember the rule of 35. And दूसरी चीज, buy bank stocks, but that's a topic for another video. Now a lot of people will say कि नहीं, हमने तो पिछले साल घर खरीद लिया था, now we are paying 45 to 50% of our net income into house expenses. The answer there is increase your income. Do a side hustle, do Uber Eats, do Uber, ride share, do whatever it takes to increase your income. Make more money through YouTube, side hustle. कितनी सारी चीजें हैं where you can make a couple of $100 more every month to make your payments below 35%. But as long as you make the payments below 35%, हमारी जो house carrying cost है, that's below 35% of our net income, the house will be a blessing and it will not be a burden. अब बहुत सारे लोग नीचे भी ये भी लिखेंगे कि यार इतना सारा मगजमारी करनी क्या है, इतना सारे प्रॉब्लम्स क्यों क्रिएट करनी है, घर खरीदना इतना भी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. एंड यू आर राइट. Most of the people who are actually buying houses and paying 50, 55, 60% of their incomes in house should not have bought the house, and that's the reality. ये कोई भी mortgage broker, कोई भी realtor नहीं कहेगा आपको, because we make money when you buy a house. But the point is that not everyone should buy a house. They should first work towards increasing their income, so that when we buy a house, that actually becomes a blessing. हाउसेज जो होते हैं ना, वो कोई ट्रेडिंग कार्ड्स की तरह नहीं है. यू कांट जस्ट बाय अ हाउस व्हेन द इंटरेस्ट रेट इज लो एंड देन सेल अ हाउस बिकॉज द इंटरेस्ट रेट इज हाई. इट्स अ 25 to 30 year commitment. So if you cannot commit to the rule of 35 for 25 to 30 years, you should not buy a house. It's as simple. And that's why when people reach out to me, I always do calculations a little bit differently. First of all, I open my computer, I actually show them how the calculations works, what's GDS, what's TDS. I also give them a calculation that the bank will give, and then I tell them what you should actually buy, and if that is more than 35%, I also give them options of how to improve their income. A lot of times, and people who are watching me and I have talked to them, a lot of times the answer is that you need to make $15,000 to $20,000 more, and there's so many people who have come to me. I'll give you an example. So there was one person who was actually making $95,000 single earning and wanted to buy a condo in Ontario in January. मैंने उनको बोला कि यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू बाय बिकॉज 500-550 के आसपास का कॉन्डो यू विल बी एबल टू बाय, देन पेरेंट्स आर कमिंग, 2-bedroom कॉन्डो चाहिए. I actually told him that you are a software developer. I think you should go and get a better paying job because you are underpaid. This guy actually came back to me just last month and he actually said that, you know what, Navjot, I took your suggestion and now I am earning $140,000. That's the impact that you can actually create for yourself by increasing your income. And now he can buy a $650,000-$700,000 house if he wanted to. He's buying a lower house, but if he wanted to, he can actually buy a much more expensive house. So what is the best time to buy a house? Is it today or 6 months from now? The answer is whenever you can afford it, whenever you can commit to the rule of 35. That's all we have for today. I hope you liked the video. Guys, video please like karke jana, and if you have not subscribed to the channel, there'll be more videos like this which will be coming. There'll be vlogs, there'll be all sorts of videos related to Canada and finance and investing and our journey in general. मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में, तब तक के लिए बाय बाय.